Voice matters.
Absolutely, because your voice matters. We're here to look at the matters that concern you. Welcome to your every weekday show that looks at the issues that concern everyday Nigerians in the streets of Nigeria. My name is Chinwe Blessing, and I am more than privileged to, take this journey with you every single weekday, Monday through Friday, from 12:30 all the way to 3 p.m. right here on Voice of the People, 96.1 FM Abuja. Today we delve into Nigeria's ongoing currency crisis, where the central bank delay in clearing foreign exchange debts has caused a shortage of foreign currency, and it has impacted businesses and consumers alike. Today we will discuss the reasons behind the crisis, the implications for the economy, and the potential solutions. So stay tuned and hear from us as we continue down this road. We do hope that we can find possible strategies to stabilize the currency and restore confidence in Nigeria's foreign exchange market. That is what we intend to look at in this first segment of matters. Now, there's a $10 billion debt, and the CBN is defaulting on payment to banks, and dollar has neared 1,000 naira. This is the deepest plunge we have seen right from whenever. Okay, the naira has plunged to 995. And that is really low. Let's look at the details of the story now. Over 2 weeks after the Central Bank of Nigeria promised to clear the over $10 billion foreign exchange debts owed deposit money banks, the Apex Bank has yet to do so. Okay, and this is according to several findings. I got a little bit of findings from several newspapers. The Punch is one. Now, this came as the naira was sold between 990 naira to the dollar and 995 to the dollar by Bureau de Change operators on Friday and Saturday in Abuja, in Lagos, and in Kano. Now, on the I&E Forex window, the naira, however, appreciated to 747 naira 76 kobo. That was on Friday, and that was from 772 naira 796 kobo to the dollar on Thursday. Now, this is not the first time we're having two varying rates in the market. And one of the reasons why the president of this administration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he got into office, not up to a month, he rolled out the policy to float the naira, to unify the exchange rate so that we do not have these discrepancies anymore. But here it is, we're having it. So on the I&E window, where of course virtually every Nigerian knows that it is as difficult as passing through the eye of the needle for you to be able to get the dollar in our usual everyday banks, as opposed to getting it from the parallel market, which is where we have more dollars, we have more forex trade going on in the actuality of it. Now, they are saying in the I&E window that the naira has appreciated. Meanwhile, in the real sense of it, in the parallel market, which we refer to as the Bureau de Change, the naira hasn't. Now, the immediate past acting CBN governor, Folashodun Shunubi, on September the 6th, 2023, if you remember, he said that the Apex Bank had concluded negotiation on dollar debts with commercial banks, disclosing that all foreign exchange backlogs would be cleared within 1 to 2 months. Now, according to him, deposit money banks have assisted the Apex Bank to clear the majority of its overdue FX forward contracts at maturity. As such, he went ahead to say that the CBN had reached an agreement to reimburse the lenders within 1 or 2 weeks, following extensive debt reconstruction talks that lasted over a period of time. In response to questions about the backlogs, the CBN have been working with the banks on various structures to clear them. So what happens is that at maturity, they make the foreign exchange available to those who need it. Okay, now we are discussing, I'm still quoting Shinobi, by the way, we are discussing with them so that we can structure their own. So we are working towards clearing them in the next 1 or 2 weeks. It is something we have been discussing for a while. Now, he told an audience at a forum in Lagos. However, there are multiple top bank executives that have told several different media houses, especially now the Punch on Sunday, that almost 3 weeks after that promise, the Apex Bank has yet to make good on its promise. And like I said earlier this morning when we were discussing with Aliu on Business Around Town, it's really sad to see that people in the position of authority don't value they don't place any value on their words and their promises. This is not the first time, this is not the first sector, this is not the first situation where we are having administrators, key office holders make promises and just make them for the sake of making them, just to make things calm down in the long run, and then we move on to the next one, because Nigerians are fond of always moving on to the next one and not dwelling on problems that actually affects them. And that's how we got ourselves into the mess that we're in the first place. But I continue. Now, they said that the development has put banks in a very tight FX liquidity position, a situation that has made many lenders to temporarily suspend several forex transactions, including payment of school fees and personal travel allowance applications. Now, findings show the situation has also worsened dollar liquidity at the parallel market as bank customers shift to the black market to meet their forex needs, this is not a new thing. This has been happening in the country a lot. You walk into any bank right now, and if you think I'm just being hard on the government and you want to try it out, please try it out and let me know what your findings are. Walk into any bank right now and tell them you're looking for dollars or pounds, any of the forex. What is going to happen is you're going to join a very long line of people that are also waiting for the same thing. It's going to take you probably months before you can have access to the forex. What faith does Nigeria have when we can't even afford forex to do business, and we need it? Now, that's the sad thing. Now, the FX backlogs have not cleared. The promise has not been made good. We are hoping that the new CBN governor will begin a discussion with banks on it and clear them immediately. Now, this is what the executive director of a commercial bank told one of our correspondents on the condition of anonymity, right? Also, a top bank official of a tier 2 bank privy to the development said, "We have yet to see the FX backlogs cleared, including the overdue forward contract obligations. We don't know when this is going to be cleared. Unfortunately, the situation has worsened our FX position, which is forex position, making many banks to put some forex demands on their customers on hold," which was what I just explained. Now, a report by JP Morgan, which is a United States, based lender, put the total amount of forward contract debt owed by the CBN at $6.82 billion. The CBN has, however, dismissed the report. Now, reports had to put forward contracts and when I had to put forward contracts and dollar swap deals between the Apex Bank and banks at over $10 billion, the CBN could not be reached for immediate comments as of Sunday. Of course, our correspondents are still trying to work on the matter and figure out if we can get anything out of them. Well, let's quickly, in this time, talk about how the Naira is slumping, because it has slumped. On Friday, pressure mounted on the Naira at the black market, with BDC operators in Lagos, Kano and Abuja lamenting the dollar scarcity. Now, an Abuja-based BDC operator, whose name is Sanusi Ibrahim, by the way, said, we sold the Naira for as high as 1,000 Naira on Saturday. We've reached the 1,000 Naira benchmark. Now, while it makes me happy that I can collect my bet with a friend of mine, I said before, I think that was in May, I said that before December, the Naira is going to hit 1,000 at the black markets. And they were like, oh no, the floating of the Naira is going to help. Well, that kind of makes me happy. But then it saddens my heart even more that a Naira, there was a time that the Naira was a Naira to a dollar, and now we've gone as far down as 1,000 Naira to a dollar on Saturday. On Friday, according to Sanusi Ibrahim, who, like I said, is an Abuja-based BDC operator, said we were buying and selling for 980 Naira per dollar and 995. Right? Another BDC operator who is based in Lagos, Ikeja, Yusuf Karim, said the Naira was sold for 995 Naira per dollar. It is scarce. I cannot sell below that because I also bought it expensive. Only those who have it can sell. At the parallel market, the pound sterling was bought and sold for 1,235 pounds and 1,250 pounds, while euro was bought and sold for 1,025 euros and 1,028 euro. Okay, per euro, right? That's Naira to the euro. Get it? According to operators in the segment of the market. On the I&E Forex window, the Naira, however, appreciated, which is another thing that just keeps busting my head. Permit me to say it like that. It just keeps making me wonder what it is we are doing with ourselves in this country. The Naira appreciated on the I&E window 747 Naira 76 kobo per dollar at the close of Friday, which was from 772 Naira 98 kobo per dollar on Thursday. Now, several manufacturers are scared. They are fearing closure. They are the operators in the economy, and they have feared further rise in cost of goods and services and more shutdowns of their operations over the worsened Naira value. Now, they have called for urgent intervention in the sector to prevent more hardships on Nigeria. The national vice chairman of the Nigeria Association of Small Scale Industry, Shegu Kuti George, said higher prices would be the unavailable consequence of the current exchange rate. He expressed dismay that the floating of the Naira, which was supposed to curb speculation of currency speculation, had consequently gone ahead to not do that. It ended up escalating the activities of speculation of the Naira depreciation, especially at the parallel market, where more consumers access the forex. More factories would be forced to shut down. The sad thing about that is the factories are shutting down. We are going to not have whatever, we're going to struggle to get whatever product or service it is those factories are manufacturing or processing or whatnot, producing. And we are going to have more people lose jobs. When there is this high inflation, there's high crime. And that is one of the things that should scare us right now. And I do hope that the government is paying attention and going to do what needs. Now, he went ahead to say, it is ironic that what works in other places doesn't work in Nigeria. The cost of production is rising because we still import a large part of our input, especially equipment. Most of the raw materials that we use are imported. So when the cost of input goes up, the cost of production also goes up. This will happen to the price of the products. The question now is, will people be able to afford our products now? Will imported products not be cheaper than our own, to the extent that people will be rejecting our products for imported ones? Unless the tide is stemmed, there will be more factories closure. Now, the president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Francis Meshioye, said the current exchange rate will inevitably lead to a hike in the prices of the products, giving the toll it will take on manufacturers to access foreign exchange. According to him, the floating of the exchange rate will not mean anything to operators of the Naira continues the free. That's if the Naira continues the free fall, right? Meshioye said it is an unpleasant development because this is the major currency through which we purchase goods outside the bounds of our nation. It means that the cost of materials will continue to skyrocket. It is unpleasant. We hope, I'm quoting Meshioye, by the way, it's unpleasant. We hope that the government will do something about it while we float the exchange rate. It should not be allowed to be somersaulting and skyrocketing to unreasonable levels which will not augur well for the country, knowing fully well that we are not just trading amongst ourselves. He added that we have to trade outside of our bounds. The implication of this is that our prices may be unreasonably higher than the prices of other countries. That implies, amongst other things, that our products may be forced to be too expensive. If you want to look at the unavailability of disposable income among the citizenry, the choice of buying Nigerian-made products, which may be expensive, and foreign products which are cheaper, is low. It is pathetic. Of course it is. Now, speaking about scarcity, the President's Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, Dr. Aminu Gwadabe, said the volatility of the local currency had continued to underpin the nation's slow economic growth. He said the high demand pressure at the I&E window and parallel market due to lack of sufficient liquidity have been fueling the widening gap between the I&E window and the parallel market rates. Now, a combination of several factors, including the investors' backlog estimated at $6.8 billion and incentives to bring fresh funds into the economy, is one of our many major concerns. In the same vein, the dwindling receipt of diaspora remittances and resurrection of subsidy on the petrol are major deterrents and big concerns to a fresh liquidity market. Now, according to him, the uncertainties and loss of private confidence on the local currency has heightened demand pressure in all segments of the market. He said, in addressing the challenges of the I&E window, there is need for the legislation of the willing buyer, willing seller concept. This will lead to enhanced liquidity in the foreign exchange market and enhance public confidence. It is also imperative in this regard to recognize the intrusion of the BDCs at the I&E window to continue to play their roles of moderating and correcting the mistakes. He advised the government, the federal government that is, on how to bring in more diaspora remittances. The CBN had recently announced operational mechanism for the BDCs to trade foreign currencies at similar rates obtainable on the I&E forex window. It gave the directive to all BDCs and the general public in a circular number TED FEM PUB FBC 001007 dated 17th of August 2023, and it was titled Operational Mechanism for Bureau de Change Operations in Nigeria. The circular stated, the spread on buying and selling by BTC operators shall be within an allowable limit of minus 2.5% to plus 2.5% of the Nigerian exchange market window weighted average rate of the previous day. Now, mandatory rendition by BDC operators of the statutory periodic reports, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly on the official institution, I beg your pardon, forex rendition system, which has been upgraded to meet operators' requirements. The director and the chief executive officer, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Dr. Muda Yusuf, said the new CBN governor, Dr. Olayemi Cordoso, was assuming the leadership of the CBN at a critical time in the economic history. He said there is a serious confidence crisis in the foreign exchange market, fueling an unprecedented speculative onslaught on the Naira. The economy is grappling with severe adverse effects of a depreciating exchange rate, soaring energy costs, ravaging inflationary pressures, huge backlog of foreign exchange obligations that need to be cleared, and debt service obligations that need to be redeemed. Sadly, these outcomes are manifesting at a time when the country's foreign reserves have been substantially encumbered. There is an apparent declaration in the pace of economic reforms as the outcomes are at variance and expectations. The social cost of the reforms were substantially higher than anticipated, resulting in pushbacks from the civil society. He said the economic management orthodoxy of market forces was being called to question in light of the social outcomes of the market-oriented reforms. Now, he went ahead to say that there was a measure to re-emergence. I beg your pardon. He said there was a measured re-emergence of political economy with the appearance of fuel subsidy and divergence in exchange rates. Now, this was evidently an economic management quadrilateral that the new economic team would have to manage, and urgently so. Well, we can see why. Okay, now Yusuf went ahead to say, meanwhile, the CBN must ensure strategic and transparent intervention in the forex market to minimize a volatility as far as the reserves can support. In addition, the I&E window, it has become necessary to create an autonomous window in the banking system where the currency can trade freely without encumbrances. This is necessary to avert the diversion of remittances to other jurisdictions or the black market. We cannot afford to live in denial at this time. The clearance of the backlogs of foreign obligations should be accorded high priority to restore the confidence of the domestic and foreign investors. Like I said earlier this morning, this is not a time for us to try to be politically correct about anything. This is a time for Nigerians to thrive. This is a time for Nigeria to try to keep its head above water. We're drowning and we're driving. We're going deeper and deeper by the day. And it's not going to work if we continuously lie to ourselves. Is the Naira appreciating or depreciating? When you acknowledge there's a problem, then you can start finding a solution to it. With that being said, it's a wrap on this segment on matters. Of course, we're looking at Nigeria's currency crisis. It's evident that the delay in clearing foreign exchange debts by the Central Bank of Nigeria has far-reaching implications. This crisis affects businesses, consumers, and the overall economic stability of the nation. I've heard from experts who have shared their insights into the root causes of this issue and the urgent need for solutions. The hope now rests with the new leadership at the central bank, and the nation looks to them to navigate these turbulent waters. It is clear that addressing this situation and crisis is essential to fostering economic growth, maintaining confidence in the financial sector, and ensuring that Nigerian businesses can thrive. We will continue, of course, right here to monitor developments in Nigeria's foreign exchange market and bring you updates as